Hello, I'm Mark Beale. The saying goes that a man's home is his castle, and although Haywood Hall is certainly smaller than some American homes of a later period, it was considered a mansion for its time and place in North Carolina history. The house was built shortly after America's Revolution from England and was considered a symbol of stability of the new government in North Carolina. Amazingly, this house has been lived in by Haywood family members from its construction in 1799 until its bequest to the National Society of the Colonial Dames in the state of North Carolina in 1977. During this program, we will take you through Haywood Hall and provide you with a glimpse not only of the home, but of the people that lived here and what life must have been like at Haywood Hall. In 1792, the area that was to become the capital of the state of North Carolina was certainly no city. In fact, Raleigh, as the city was to become known, was little more than uncleared forests of oak and hickory. There were no navigable rivers, no manufacturing, and the plantations in the area farmed for little more than subsistence. In fact, the nearest thing to a town was a handful of houses at Joel Lane's Inn, Isaac Hunter's Tavern, and the Wake County Courthouse, which was built of logs. However, the 9 commissioned delegates that were to find a site for the new capital thought the area a wise choice. There were good reasons for the site. First, it was in the center of the state and was therefore more accessible to the western part of North Carolina. And second, the area was at the convergence of the state's 2 major highways, the north-south, connecting Petersburg and Charleston, and the east-west, connecting Hillsborough and the North Carolina coast. In the winter of 1794, the state capital was moved from New Bern to Raleigh. By a 1792 law, state officials were required to live at the seat of government. And so, Treasurer John Haywood moved to Raleigh. Treasurer John Haywood had a noble and distinguished career as a soldier in the American Revolution in the Edgecombe County Militia, as treasurer of the state of North Carolina, trustee of North Carolina University, and as the first mayor of the city of Raleigh. When Treasurer Haywood first moved to Raleigh, he purchased a small home on the corner of Edenton and Wilmington Street. However, on May 26, 1796, Haywood purchased lot number 191, and within 4 years, Haywood Hall would be complete. The chief architect and builder of Haywood Hall was Rodham Atkins. Atkins was the prominent architect and builder in Raleigh at the time and had been involved in the design and construction of the first Capitol building. The style of Haywood Hall is basically federal. This style is evidenced by the classic double front porch, flat-paneled doors, classic-style columns, and interior wainscoting. On the outside of the home includes beaded weatherboarding and medallions and triglyphs under the eaves. The foundation of the house is of locally quarried granite. The interior of the house follows the hall and parlor plan. A great wide hall extends from the front to the rear of the house, with parlors on each side of the hall. Certainly the most impressive room in the house is the drawing room, or parlor. This room was used as the main reception area and family room. The room is paneled, with wainscoting from floor to waist level. Much of the house has been restored to original colors, including all the doors in the house, and the parlor mantelpiece, which has been decoratively painted in a marble pattern. One of the most important pieces of furniture in this room is Treasurer John Haywood's early 1800s bachelor's desk. Also of importance is the floor-length pier mirror with gilt frame. If it could talk, the mirror could reveal many secrets. The mirror was originally owned by Fabius Haywood. From his house on Morgan Street, the mirror was moved to a mansion in Chicago. Later, to Mary Haywood Stern's home in Atlanta, then to her home in New York, and finally to Haywood Hall, just a few blocks from where it started. A door on the north wall of the parlor leads to the pantry, complete with original tongue and groove paneling and original locks on the door. On the left of the entranceway was originally the Great Hall. This main hall was 20 by 30 feet and was used for entertaining guests. John Haywood was a fan of entertaining political guests and was said to have had every state legislator to dinner at least once a year. The Great Hall underwent many changes throughout the years and was divided into a music room and a dining area by Lucy Williams Haywood in the 1890s. The music room now hosts an 1820s pianoforte, an 1820s needlework of George Washington, and bookshelves that were originally built for Haywood Hall. The dining room contains furnishings of several periods. Gracing the dining room are a beautiful portrait of Mary Haywood Fowle Stearns, owner of Haywood Hall, from 1947 to 1977. A white and gold china set made by the Tucker brothers in 1830s Philadelphia, and a 19th century English mahogany table and chairs, which had earlier graced an English castle. The stairway to the second floor is wide and fully paneled. At the top are hand-carved architraves, where a wooden apple and a pineapple hang as a sign of hospitality. On the second floor are a large hallway and 3 large bedrooms. The master bedroom is framed by dentiled crowned molding. The floorboards, taken from the Old East Dormitory building at the University of North Carolina campus, were added over the original floor. The most impressive piece of furniture in this room is the massive 1820s rosewood Mississippi 4-post bed. Other furnishings include an 1830s double globe lamp and an 1800s writing desk. Just off the master bedroom is the nursery with a fine collection of dolls donated to the museum. The northwest bedroom has a portrait of Treasurer John as a young man. The southwest bedroom includes the bed upon which Mary Haywood Fowle Stearns was born, in an original 1800s wardrobe. The doors in this room, like many others, have been magnificently restored to their original condition. The kitchen was detached from the house, as all kitchens were at the time, due to the threat of fire. Inside, a large fireplace was used to cook the meals for the family and guests. Also on the property are a mule barn, a garden shed, and a beautiful gazebo. One of the most glorious works of art at Haywood Hall is Eliza's garden. Eliza, Treasurer John's wife, began her garden in 1809. It was full of beautiful flowers, shrubs, and fruit trees, including 10 different colors of double-flowered hyacinth, yellow roses, tulips, lilies, and a grapevine whose cuttings had originated in France. Eliza obtained plants for her garden in 2 ways. First, by purchasing seeds from local merchants, and second, by trading with other gardeners. By 1820, Eliza was known by all throughout the South as a great florist and gardener. On November 18, 1827, Treasurer John Haywood died. He left much of his property, including Haywood Hall, to his wife Eliza. In order to consolidate her property and pay debts, Eliza sold much of the Haywood property, but she was able to keep the house. Eliza supplemented her income by running a boarding house and taking in state legislators and travelers. Eliza's life ended shortly after her husband's on July 19, 1832. But due to Eliza's hard work, the Haywood Hall home remained in family hands. It was Betsy John Haywood, the oldest child, who took over the household after Eliza's death. Betsy was a remarkable woman. She was raised in a home of privilege, became the head of the Haywood household at a young age, dealt with numerous troubles, including the aftermath of the American Civil War, and was able to leave the home in Haywood family hands at her death. Not only was Betsy an accomplished woman, but she was beautiful by all accounts. In the spring of 1825, the city was astir at the impending arrival of the Marquis de Lafayette. There exists a long-standing tradition that Treasurer Haywood entertained Lafayette at breakfast. During the breakfast, the Marquis named Betsy the most beautiful and accomplished woman he had seen in this country. As the tradition goes, after breakfast, Betsy John escorted the Marquis to the State House to view the Canova statue of George Washington. With the death of her parents in 1827 and 1832, Betsy John had to take charge of a large and financially troubled household. To earn income for the family, Betsy John started a private girls' boarding school. Betsy's intellectual and social abilities and the prominence of the Haywood family name made this school one of the most fashionable private schools in the area. Betsy John Haywood died at the age of 79 on February 23, 1877. She left her estate to her sister Frances and her brother, Dr. Edmund Burke Haywood, who had long attended to the taxes on the property. Dr. Burke Haywood had a distinguished medical career. He was a founder of the Medical Society of North Carolina, and during the Civil War was given charge of the Confederate military hospital at the local fairgrounds. After a long career as a Raleigh doctor, Dr. Burke Haywood died in 1894, leaving Haywood Hall to his wife Lucy. For the next 50 years, Haywood Hall was handed down to and lived in by Haywood family members. In 1947, Walter and Mary Haywood Fowle Stearns purchased the house. Mary was the daughter of the North Carolina Governor, Daniel G. Fowle, and granddaughter of Treasurer John Haywood. Mary and Walter were responsible for restoration and furnishing the home as it had been in the early 1800s. In 1968, due to Mary and Walter's efforts, Haywood Hall was declared a Raleigh Historic Site. Mary died on March 4, 1977. In her will, she left Haywood Hall and the grounds to the National Society of the Colonial Dames in 1977. What was once a home to one of Raleigh's first families is now a museum. The committee operates Haywood Hall, which is open to the public for tours and receptions. Every year, hundreds of people pass through Haywood Hall and travel back in time to become part of Raleigh, North Carolina's beginning.